So we got the Wheeler's beer drinker. We had the lottery players, and we got one part of this beer chilling in the freezer. Then we got another one in a mini fridge. So looks like this Saharan African dust. Hey, I love you. You're the greatest.
You should have told me though.
I'm sorry. Looks like this African Sahara dust is going to get out of here, but my allergies have been killing me today. Maybe I was affected by a particular sadness in relationship to the floods in Texas this weekend that happened during the early morning hours of July 4th. In Kerrville, or Kerr, Texas. Yeah. I guess as the death toll rose, I guess my mood went lower and lower and lower and lower. So, I hate to say it, but it did. Thoughts and prayers to those that are affected by the floods in Texas. My moods are not usually somber. There's some people that are moody all the time, like, you know, somber moods all the time. Like, I'm not usually one of those type of people, but, you know, in certain situations, I can't always be jovial, of course. And this is a bummer in the summer for real. So, personality and general mood states aside, yeah, this one's a fucking tragedy. So. I don't think the issue is political. You know, it's God, it's Mother Nature. I mean, shit's gonna happen. So sometimes the stars align and a guy meets a beautiful blonde with green eyes and his life is happily ever after or whatever. And, you know, and everything lines up and everything's all key-dory. And then sometimes it could be the opposite way, like everything negative could line up and, you know, and then it could be the other way. So it just kind of depends. Maybe somebody wakes up with the lottery ticket, you know, and they're like, oh man, Edith, get in here, I won. We're millionaires. You know, sometimes, you know, there's luck, serendipity and all that. And then sometimes it's the opposite of that, unfortunately. And so what you had was in Kerr, Texas, in the Texas Hill Country, what you had there was an alignment of all the negative things. Like almost all the negative things you could almost think of all lining up at once to create, you know, utter tragedy and devastation. So this one sucks. Big donkey ball dicks, right? may the Lord be in the recovery of the people experiencing the Texas floods of July 4th, 2025. Godspeed their recovery process. And what I was looking for is like, well, how did they not know, right? Because, yeah, I mean, I figure it's a digital society, and people got internet, and I guess some people have access to the internet, or most people. So I figured people were watching, the news, cable news, or local news, and they're watching the weather reports, right? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Or they're watching the Weather Channel. Maybe they're not weather fiends or anything, but maybe they casually glance at, like, hey, I wonder what's going on in my weather. What do they call that in Houston on channel KPRC, channel 2 and channel 13, KTRK, and KHOU, channel 11, and Fox 26. They call that weather awareness. So I know some people, you might have lives or something like that. Like you have a really busy career and you have, 5 kids and a woman at home or something. And maybe your life is really, like you don't have time to check out the weather because you feel that it's irrelevant to your existence. You're like, oh, weather, smother. There's plenty of people like that. Even if they witness the destructive power of Mother Nature firsthand, there's a lot of people, I'm too busy to worry about this. I have no time to bleed. I have no time to worry. So a lot of people might not even check their weather alert on their phone, or they might not check their, local news before they head out, or they might not surf the net. They might not go to the Weather Channel. They might not check out, the National Weather Service or anything like that. They just, kind of drive. They're like, man, I got to feed my kids, and they get in their truck and go off to work, and they don't know what the fuck is going on, right? Even though we have this fantastic digital internet and all these fantastic technologies available, so radar and meteorology and all these fun things, and still some people don't check it out, and it might be the most epic fucking storm of all time, and then some people don't even know about it, even if they had plenty of time to know about it. Like, you might be talking to somebody, right? And you're like, oh, you didn't hear about that hurricane? The hurricane's coming here? It's Category 4. And they might be like, really? Really? Oh, man, I better get to the store. Some people, maybe they haven't been checking it out. They had to get to work to feed their children or their family or whatever. So they didn't have time to monitor what's going on, right? No time to monitor the weather, monitor what's happening. So they're so busy with their personal and professional lives. The busy bees. Busy bees. But that's no fault of their own. But might be cool to like check the weather or something. So apparently, the National Weather Service gave out alerts to on July 3rd, telling the people of that area in the Texas Hill Country that there was possibility of dangerous flooding and a severe storm and a weather event. And then they did the alert again. I think it was July 3rd, and then it was 1 a.m. by July 4th. Then it was like 3 a.m. and then it was 5 a.m., 8 a.m. And a lot of these alerts went to people's telephones too. They're what I'm filming this on, which is my Apple iPhone 13 Pro. It's pretty fancy shit. Not really. my i13 iPhone Pro, made with slave labor from Chinese slave labor. Ooh. A good old Chinese communist slave manufacturing labor. Brought to you by, maybe you say, instead of just made in China, it should say made by Chinese child slave labor. Brought to you. Brought to you by child slave labor. Oh man. This was bought with Chinese child slave labor. Mm. But maybe Trump will bring some of those manufacturing jobs back to the United States. You know, bring Apple and bring the globalist sellouts and slave labor employers back to the United States. Yeah, it is kind of, I worked for Toshiba for a while, putting together backup power energy machines, for when I was doing some temporary work. There was a thing, temporary work. It was like you would go take a piss test and go to the temporary staffing agency and try to find a job. Back in the day, they used to have this thing. And, if you didn't have a job already or had no idea what kind of job you were going to do or what you wanted to do, you just go to this temporary employment agency and they'd hook you up, so you can get some money flowing and, get shit going on, right? You get your shit employed and get some work experience, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, maybe we were stupid going to the temporary work agency, you know what I'm saying? Because the rich kids weren't going to the temporary work agency, right? The rich kids weren't doing that. They were going to college, the universities. Yeah. So the rich kids and the trust fund babies, they were doing something totally different. But we were like, oh my God, we need to get a job, dude. And then they were like, well, they got these things called temporary work agencies. It could lead to full-time employment, maybe, if you're a good boy and serve the corporation right. So imagine me in the assembly line, right? Man, it was cold and mechanical at that Toshiba plant. I mean, they had one Asian, he was named Dong. And I used to be able to grow a beard back in the day. And then when I had my beard, he goes, when I was like 22, he goes, you look like Chuck Norris, ha 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 ha. And I was like, oh, I don't know about that, but thanks. Maybe my beard, is kind of red like that, got that Irish and everything. So he goes, ha ha, you look like Chuck Norris. And then they had another chick. I don't know if the Asian names really translate to Western names, right? Because the guy was named Dong, which in English it means ding dong, like penis. And then the other chick was called Bang. That might be a popular name, wherever. Is that South Korea? Is that where Toshiba's from, or is it Japan? But anyways, those Asians, man, they're kind of serious. You know what I mean? But the guy I was working with was like kind of a redneck, kind of a redneck ghetto white guy. And then across from him was like this dude from Africa. And it was like the most hilarious shit because we're like building these machines, looking at the schematics. I don't think I was very good at it, but we were doing it, assembling the energy machines at the factory, at the Toshiba factory, right? This was like, I don't know, this temporary job, maybe it lasts like, I want to say maybe we did it like I want to say like 2-3 months or something. Yeah. So these energy machines were backup just in case the power grid goes down, and then they would take over. Like for hospitals, in case people were dying and they needed the electricity to keep the people, alive on the machines and so forth. So this African American, but he was like, you can tell he had the accent, like the Wakanda, T'Challa. No, he had like, the African continent accent, from I don't know where. And then he's like, Travis, be free, be gay, be yourself. Wear pink panties, express yourself. But Travis wasn't gay. That was the joke, is that he would say, Travis, be free, express yourself. Wear pink panties. And so the guys would like entertain me at that. But it was hard to be entertained at this cold Asian factory. It was like really hard to like find humanity in there, because it was just fucking a factory, right? It was like there was something oppressive about the electronics factory, though. I'd say. One time I was like on a line, and I felt like Lucille Ball, and I couldn't keep up, and I was like, oh shit, and is you had to like get all these things, like get all these parts together and shit, and like all that stuff. I'm sure all that shit's automated now. It's like AI, and they got robots putting all the machines are building machines instead of machines that build machines. Oh yeah, that was in 2002. Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and then C-3PO sees the droid factory, and he goes, "Imagine this, R2, machines building machines. How crazy." Yeah, I guess it seemed crazy for the time, but maybe not anymore. Yeah, a lot of people are worried about AI and robots and droids taking over their jobs. Yeah, I could definitely see that, yeah. Yeah, what? So, how is society going to be gainfully employed and productive if robots and AI and shit are taking all their jobs? I suppose that the job market competition would just get extra, cutthroat and brutal. And then, if it's not already, of course, competition for resources, money, power, control, sex, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's the floods that hit July 4th in Kerr County, Texas. They were just gearing up like everybody else in Texas or anybody else in the United States of America, gearing up for the July 4th celebrations, because it's the birthday of America and Declaration of Independence and so on. And the 249th birthday. The next year is going to be the Saturday, July 4th. Yeah, the 250th birthday. One thing about celebrating the 250th birthday of America is that most of us won't be alive to celebrate the 300th. So it's kind of like Christopher Hitchens. There's one thing about stage 4 cancer, there is no stage 5. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty final in its finality. The thing about stage 4 cancer is that there's not stage 5. That's one of my favorite ones. It does remind me of the pain threshold chart in the hospital. What's your pain level? And then they have one that's like red and it's like maximum pain. And there's probably not a level beyond maximum pain. So maybe there is. I don't know. I don't want to find out. That's for sure. I did take for granted when I was in the hospital My underwear. Yeah, that's something that I usually take for granted, having underwear. And then when I was in the hospital, I didn't have my underwear. And I was like, I really missed it though, because I was like, I can't wait till I get underwear back. Like, you know, you know what I took for granted before it was underwear, and now I don't anymore. Now I really, really have a acute respect for underwear, in a way that I did not before. Oh, there you go. How's it going? I'm not going to read the bottle of the high gravity lager steel reserve 211 and tell the story of it again. That was the last. That was on July 3rd. So did these people get the alerts for bad storms, seek shelter, seek refuge? Did they not get the text from the National Weather Service? Did they not check out the radar? Did they not know? Or, I mean, you know, it hit at like what? It started hitting, it was like what, clear before 3:30? And then by 4 a.m. they were just deluged. There was 26 inches of rain in less than, I think it was like 45-minute period. So they were totally foobarred. They were totally caught off guard. They had no idea this was going to happen. Like, pretty much. They're like, oh, everything's cool. One of the guys was even out jogging like at 3:30 a.m. One of the city officials of Kerr. Kerr, that kind of sounds like almost Babylonian, right? It's like Uruk. Kerr. Does seem kind of like primordial. Zur. Uruk. The fighting Urukai. Babylon. Yeah, that's what they teach us in world history, right? It's like the Hammurabi codes, the Babylonian law codes. An eye for an eye and a tooth for the tooth. Yeah. I do like those ancient law codes. They're pretty, you know, self-explanatory. They're like, if somebody takes your eye, then you take his eye. Someone sets you on fire, then you set him on fire. It's like, you know, reciprocal law. It's simple and it's effective. The Babylonian codes, the codes of Hammurabi. I don't know if it's like thieves should get their hands cut off though. Yeah, I don't know about that one. That's more Arabic, ancient Arabic law. But they still might have that in practice in some Arabic countries. Where do they still cut off people's hands? Oh. Yeah, world history has always been really interesting to me. Obviously, got all the mythology, and I used to watch They had an Indiana Jones marathon on today, and for July 4th entertainments, and so in 1984 they came out with Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And it's this dark ass, like really creepy, almost demonic type, almost like a horror movie. Basically, it's a horror movie. But that's not rated R. For some reason, they're able to get away with it somehow. Oh, I know. Are they able to get away with it because they don't show a lot of blood? So if they showed more blood, it would be like, yeah, it's more like gross out. Yeah, I guess PG-13 you can get away with like a lot of gross out stuff, but it's really pushing the envelope, honestly. Yeah, you know what? The Temple of Doom is kind of like Doom. Yeah, it actually does remind me a lot of Doom. Now, I thought the elements in that movie were all made up. I thought it was all fictitious. But actually there was a Thuggee cult in India. And so there was actually a Thuggee cult. So yeah. And I was like, oh shit, that was actually real. And then I learned about the Hindu gods, Kali and Shiva, and so on. And then I was like, oh shit, because I took a Khan Academy course exploring Hinduism, and I was really impressed. And actually, when I was taking the courses in Khan Academy about Hinduism, I was really blown away because a lot of the stories of like the Legend of Zelda that are not really Arthurian in the medieval sense. A lot of the sages and a lot of the spirits from heaven and everything. All that stuff is very Hinduistic actually. It's almost like the Legend of Zelda designers and creators are kind of mining the world's religions, and that's how they're crafting their stories a lot of times. Not exactly, of course, but it's reminiscent though of it. Like that there's spirit goddesses that come down like in the Ocarina of Time and so on. So I mean, I'm kind of intrigued by all the different parallels between ancient religions and I don't know what's not fascinating about religion. There's really nothing not fascinating about it, or there's nothing not fascinating about archaeology or ancient civilizations or anything like that. There's actually nothing that's not interesting about that actually. So all that stuff is what is human civilization for except the stories that it tells itself and the stories that it passes along to the other generations. So what is humanity besides a story? Of course we are real, but also we are ideas, constructs, concepts. We're not only real, but we're like beyond real. So we're almost hyper real or surreal in a way. So just the idea of consciousness itself lends itself to certain intense scrutiny and reflection. So just on that basis alone. Just going off on a tangent here. Hell yeah. Actually, yeah, I thought that Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was I mean everybody knows that it's a really dark movie, and it's a really gross movie too. Don't eat if you want to if you're watching Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Do I have a phobia of bugs? I grew up out in the country. I really don't gross out on bugs that much. I don't gross out on creatures. So, just maybe a healthy dose of fear, but I don't. We had a really bad flood, in Houston. We had these major downpours, nothing like the Guadalupe River and stuff that's going on in Central Texas, but there was something that entered the house after this flood, and it was not a normal customer. It was something strange, and it was late at night. I was watching an X-Files episode, and I was kind of sick I think I was recovering from COVID-19, the Chinese plague virus, the bioweapon from Wuhan, China, from the Virology Institute. I was recovering from that. So I'm watching X-Files, and it's already creepy, and the place has been flooded out and everything, and places trashed out because of the flood. And all of a sudden I look down, but I don't have a light on. I see this black, this little creature, and I'm an idiot. I'm like, what is that? and I reached down to touch it, and then when I touched it, it almost like it had electric shock, because I went, it buzzed in a violent way, and it was like, it almost felt like it had an electric charge. Now I know a spider or a crab probably can't have it. I don't know if there's a spider or crab that actually has an electric charge. You know, I don't want to find out if there is, but you know, I was like, fuck, you idiot. You see a creature in the dark, you just grab for it? That's so stupid. And, but, you know, I'm already paranoid. I'm watching X-Files late at night. It's fucking tripping me out anyway. And then, we have wooden floors, so it scampers off. And it's like, so I'm thinking, oh, is this a crab or it's a spider? It's a big spider or it's a crab? Whatever I just touched, right? And then I go into the hall, and the dude, but it might be a crab. Well, it could be a spider, but it's like looking at me. It's like checking out my maneuvers, and I'm like scared shitless. So I get on the toilet. I get on the fucking in the guest bathroom, and I'm like looking at it, and it's like looking at me, and it's like it's fucking like fucking with me, like this little creature, and it. I was ready to nail that bitch, and but I was so petrified what it was, because I had no idea what had come off the ocean. I guess it was I don't think it was a tarantula. Maybe it was a crab. Maybe it was a crab and it pinched me or something, because this is not a usual customer. It came in from the sea or somewhere else. It got carried away by the floods or something, and somehow entered our condos in some way. Well, at least the snake didn't. You know, everybody's afraid of like taking a shit and the snake going up your ass. Yeah, that'd probably be the worst. A crab or a tarantula is probably a little bit easier. But I don't really spook easily off creatures. I really don't, because I grew up in Texas wild country, so I'm not really that scared of that shit. Actually, you know what's scarier than creatures is mankind. That's actually a lot scarier, because mankind can develop weapons of mass destruction and bioweapons in Wuhan, China, and fuck me in the ass. That's why mankind's a lot scarier than animals or insects, because they can really fuck us over, and they can really, really hurt us bad. Humans are the most dangerous animal ever. Well, there might be a more dangerous animal coming called AI. So, a conscious or sensuous AI. So maybe there's a more dangerous animal that's coming soon. Coming to a theater near you. Oh. Yeah, I know some people are asking me about transgenderism, Israel, Gaza, Iran, America, Ukraine, Russia, China, Taiwan, and on and on. But the reality of it is that most of us don't have any power over that. That's way bigger than our pay grade and our britches. I'm not saying that nobody should fucking care about that shit. I'm just saying, you know what? I'm not running the world. I'm not God. I can only give you my honest opinion, what I think about it. Then that's it. That's it. That's the extent of my power on this globe so far. So, So in the 2000s, from 2000 to 2008, there was a president called George W. Bush Jr. And I remember all my friends going crazy, and I remember all these people saying, fuck. The funniest one is I was working at a liquor store, and there was an Armenian guy, which is kind of like a Russian guy. And the Armenian guy was like, fuck Bush. And they say, fuck Bush. And I always remember his accent saying "fuck Bush," and I still think about it to this day. Fuck a Bush, fuck a Bush. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, like it could be like fuck whoever, but they have the power. You know, ultimately, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I could be like fuck him, fuck Vladimir Putin, but I can't stop Vladimir Putin from murdering people. So what good is it? It doesn't help me do anything unless I'm killing Vladimir Putin. Then it works. If I'm putting plutonium in his soup, if I'm stabbing him in the head, then I'm doing something for the world. But if I'm just saying fuck Putin, it doesn't really. I mean, you know, it doesn't. I don't have the power to do anything. I mean, at the end of the day. So all these people that were like, fuck George W. Bush, and they were like, fuck Bush. I was like, okay, guys, but you can be like, fuck Bush or hail to the chief, or you can be like Radiohead, hail to the thief, but you have no power to stop those in power. I mean, they have power. We're just, you know, the fucking taxpayers or the fucking workers or the fucking the bungled and the botched. We're not. I mean. We're just the voters or the citizens, whatever the fuck, you know, some bullshit like that. The flotsam and the jetsam, right? We're not the big dogs. We're not challenging the big dogs. We're not making the decisions of the world. We can affect change. Positive change, of course. I'm not saying no man or woman's that we're not important, but the only thing the Russian American guy or the Armenian American guy is making me laugh, saying fuck Bush, but he's not stopping Trump. I mean stopping Bush from being reelected. All right. Fuck Bush. And then Robert De Niro's like, fuck Trump. And then when Obama gets elected, you know, all the people go, how do you like him now? How do you like this bitch now? Yeah, you know, Walton and Johnson. That was probably one of the most clever ones, I think. So when Obama was elected, you know, the biggest con job in American history, because his dad was Kenyan and his mother was white. And he's a Muslim. Anti-American, anti-Christian. I mean, basically. So, I like the Walton and Johnson program. It used to be a radio, you know, program that would play in the South, and they say, "How do you like him now? How do you like Barack Hussein Obama now? How do you like his ass now?" Yeah. I don't think many people really enjoyed what they voting for Obama Biden. I don't think people really got what they wanted there. I don't think they got hope and change. They got hope and shit or something. They got dope and shit. All you got was all the big banks and all the big financial institutions getting bailed out by the American taxpayer. Or as George Carlin would say, a big red, white, blue dick shoved up our ass. That's all we got. Bullshit. So I voted against Barack Hussein Obama in 2012. I voted for that rhino Republican in name only motherfucker, you know, Mitt Romney from Utah. Polygamous motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding around. No, he's not a polygamist, but he's some fake ass square jaw. It kind of reminds me of like a Utah version of Bruce Campbell. He's got that square jaw and he's got that, you know, slick salesman kind of shit. Yeah, I voted for. Now, a vote for Mitt Romney was not really that everybody loved Romney. It's they wanted to stop Obama from being reelected. That was the point. They wanted to stop Obama and Biden from destroying our fucking country. So that's why we voted against Obama, Biden. Yeah. So the vote was a F to Obama and Biden. It wasn't a vote for Romney, really. It was just, there's two-party systems, there's two choices. So Elon Musk is getting frisky. He really hates being a bitch of the government. He hates that because he's like, well, he's going to create an interplanetary human civilization on Mars. He's doing the Boring Company. He's doing Tesla, EV company. He's got, SpaceX. He's got Twitter X. He's like, what the hell? He just helped Donald Trump get reelected. He's like, hey. So he's very upset about the big, beautiful bill. And so he's been talking about on Twitter X trying to make a third party called the America First Party, the America Party. Yeah. So we might not even have a two-party system as traditional in American politics for a long time. I know there was the Green Party, but that wasn't really a powerful party. That basically took away from Democrat votes. That really just siphoned off Democrat votes. So I know they had the Tea Party and the Libertarians that just took away Republican votes. It wasn't very cool. So will Americans embrace this America Party and tear down years and years of tradition? Or will they rebel against the American Party and vote Republican and conservative and stop Elon Musk from trying to take over the U.S. government? Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, he himself cannot be, he was born in South Africa, so Elon Musk cannot be our new leader. So even if he'd like to be, so he'd have to do it through proxies. So he'd have to get a candidate for the America First Party. That's by law of the U.S. Constitution. A U.S. president must be a native-born citizen just by design. It cannot be somebody that's born in a foreign nation or a foreign continent. So just by the nature of the structure of the U.S. Constitution. So that doesn't mean that Elon Musk can't run his favorite candidate that's born in the U.S. Yeah, doesn't mean he can't do that. Yeah, so the 2028 elections, we thought it would just be like rematches, right? We thought it would just be the same old shit. We thought it would just be Republicans versus Democrats. The Democrats are basically destroyed. All right, so the Democrat Party is basically in shambles after the disastrous Biden-Harris, the third Barack Hussein Obama term that basically crippled and destroyed our nation economically, spiritually, and economically. Physically, economically, spiritually, and every other way you could, any culturally destroyed our country. Just every single way you could have ever thought of it. One thing it did that was really terrible, the Obamas and the Bidens, is that they destroyed our faith in America and American government. The worst thing that they did was break our spirits. That was the most heinous violation among many of the crimes of which they have gotten away with. I think the most egregious one is that they destroyed the American spirit, that they destroyed the American dream. I think that's the most horrible crime they've actually committed against us. Oh, thank you. What are we doing? I don't know. We're drinking beer and going or something. Like a fucking Asperger's guy or something. Like an Asperger's guy with a fucking guitar. Asperger's guitar. Welcome. Welcome to Savant Guitar, where we talk about Shiva and Barack Hussein Obama and other such nonsense. Yeah, the Democrat Party, they're in shambles because they can't replicate a trick. The trick is the racial grift of Barack Hussein Obama. So they can't simultaneously trick white liberals and minorities at the same time, which they claim to represent. And so they can't fool white people, which comprise, what is it, 65 to 70% of the United States of America. They can't fool Caucasian white European people. They can't fool Hispanic people. They can't fool black people anymore. Now they're in a rock and a hard place because they're running out of tricks. They don't know what to do. So they thought they were just gonna do it sectionally. They were gonna do it based off sex and race. And what they're gonna do is so they thought after the half white, half black Kenyan man that they were going to do a woman after the interracial president. They were like, well, that worked in tricking the white people and the minorities. Okay, that worked. Then that worked with the youth vote. And then they were like, well, what do we do next? Well, we'll try a woman. Well, let's do the heir to the empire, Hillary Rodham Clinton, right? Because Clinton ran the country from 1992 to the year 2000. So they thought, well, Hillary Rodham Clinton must be the heir apparent. She's going to be the first female trailblazing leader of the United States of America. Didn't work. She was defeated by Donald John Trump. Obviously. Is it because she was unattractive? Is it because she wore a pantsuit? I don't know. Maybe she's really unlikable. Maybe she's corrupt as shit. Maybe, people didn't want another Clinton empire. Maybe they wanted a different kind of leadership. So maybe they didn't want a second coming of the Clintons, either for 4 years or not for 8 years in the office of the executive, the U.S. presidency. So, anyways, magically and mysteriously, though, it's time for Trump's re-election. Somehow, it's a year out from Trump's re-election, and a mysterious plague mysteriously emerges from Wuhan Virology Institute in China. Somehow, a bioweapon human-engineered virus emerges in November 19 and spreads all across the globe in the global pandemic. Yeah. Somehow, a year before a major executive presidential re-election, a plague is released from Wuhan, China, and the Chinese Communist Party. Somehow a plague is released. Naturally, of course, a bat and a pangolin actually crossbreeded in the Wuhan wet market. That's the official story. But do many Americans actually believe that story? I never really did. I thought it was all suspicious and bullshit from the fucking first report. To me, this was a pandemic. This was planned by Bill Gates. This was planned by George Soros. This was planned by the Clintons, the Obamas. This was a hijacking of American democracy. There's nothing that would ever make me believe otherwise, that this was a stolen, fraudulent, and if not stolen and fraudulent, this was the most fucking rigged election of all American history. So if not stolen, if not fraudulent, if not a pandemic, this was set up to make sure that Trump was never reelected. They were trying to set it up so much, the liberal global world order, whoever was doing this, whoever had the real power. Barack Hussein Obama, Joseph R. Biden, George Soros, Hillary and Bill Clinton. Somebody wanted to make sure that Donald Trump was not reelected. Somebody or many, many, many people. Yeah. Wanted to create a permanent deep state, or the deep state military, industrial, pharmaceutical, technological state media complex wanted to stop and prevent the beloved, iconic grassroots candidate Donald John Trump from being reelected. So I don't think that was coincidence. I don't think it was an accident. I never did. It always seems suspicious to me. Now, somebody who's had the COVID-19 virus like myself, and I know there's millions of you out there that have too, it's unusual from any kind of sickness that you could have. It's, you start to pass out because you start to have a big major fever, and you start to have the chills, and then your muscles ache, and then you can't fucking move, and then you get incapacitated, and then a dark fog overcomes you. Sound familiar? Anybody who's had the coronavirus, the COVID-19 SARS-CoV-2 severe acute respiratory virus. So then you get the black sleep of death, and so you just try to keep breathing, and you try to take as many medications as you can to stay alive, and you have to quarantine for 14 days, and so you get bloody you get besides the fever, you get horrible chills and muscle aches and diarrhea. So not only do you have muscle aches, it's hard to get to the toilet, but then you're fucking shitting diarrhea. Okay, this does not seem like any kind of fucking virus, any kind of cold I ever had. This is a fucking bioengineered fucking bioweapon. This is not a natural viral mutation. This is not fucking natural at all. There's nothing natural about having the chills and having endless bloody diarrhea and then fucking passing out. There is nothing fucking natural about being young and healthy and falling down the fucking stairs. All right, this is not fucking natural. There was never anything motherfucking natural about severe acute respiratory syndrome 2, SARS, CoV-2, coronavirus, COVID-19. There was nothing ever natural about this fucking shit. This is a fucking bioengineered weapon by human beings that they engineered it to stop Donald Trump from being reelected. That's it. It might have been, helped by the Chinese Communist Party, who didn't want to see Trump reelected either. They wanted people that would, kiss Xi Jinping's ass and the Chinese communists. They didn't want people that were going to fight or resist against the Chinese communist takeover of the world, or the takeover by the liberal global world order, or otherwise known as the deep state, or the military, industrial, pharmaceutical, technological state media complex. Did this virus seem natural to you, that it transferred from a bat to a pangolin when you were shitting on the toilet while your fever was blazing, while your muscles were aching? Did it seem natural to any of you out there? Did it seem very natural? when you got your vaccines, but you still got COVID anyway, and still you're fucking sick and almost died. Did that seem very natural to anybody else out there? Didn't seem very natural to me. I mean, you know, I'm no biological scientist or anything like that, but that there's nothing about that shit that seemed natural to me. So somehow the cancer-ridden, befuddled Alzheimer's patient Joe Biden gets to the finish line through help from the legacy media, the sellout fake news media, NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, MSDNC, the Drudge Report, and the burying of the Hunter Biden laptop scandal and all that stuff. So the censorship was also helped by YouTube, Google Alphabet Corporation, which was complicit with the Obamas and the Clintons and the Biden-Harris administration, and also big tech like Facebook, Meta Platforms. Mark Zuckerberg is on record for giving $400 million to the Biden-Harris campaign. So they had a lot of help from big tech to try to stop Trump from being reelected as well. So they moved as one powerful force with liberal global world order to stop Trump's reelection, and they were successful. I look at kind of like Star Wars. So when Trump was elected in 2016, that was A New Hope. And then 2020, as NPR would call it, it was called The Empire Strikes Back. And then, of course, in 2024, that was our Return of the Jedi moment. That was when our leader came back and from the brink of despair. And it seemed despairingly when we were under the Biden-Harris regime. It seemed like the most despair I've ever seen. I don't think our spirits and our wallets have quite healed from the pain and the suffering of the Biden-Harris administration. But, you know, it did give Americans hope that our champion had returned, and we were responsible for voting our American leader back in, that he shouldn't have, you know, lost in the first place. I guess sometimes if you lose things, then you appreciate them more. Like if I'm in the hospital and I miss my underwear, I guess sometimes you don't know what you got until it's gone. And man, we got taught a pretty brutal lesson, but man, we learned, and we're a lot wiser now. So maybe it's all good in the end, because, you know, sometimes if you suffer, then maybe you learn a lot. So, and I'm not saying suffering is good. I'm just saying it's enlightening, you know, as a learning experience. Oh yeah, it is Saturday night in Texas, so the beer store doesn't close down until midnight. Just letting y'all know. In case you wanted to get a beer in Texas, it doesn't close down until midnight, so. God bless America. God bless Texas. One thing I used to love when I was younger, I used to love going with people to Taco Cabana, man. Man, they used to be the shit. Like from when I was like 15 to like 25, I would go to Taco Cabana all the time. It was like the funnest shit to go to Taco Cabana. Not really even Taco Bell, man. Taco Cabana, dude. Because they serve margaritas at Taco Cabana, but they also have chicken quesadillas. They also have really good chicken quesadillas. And, you know, they're open real late and everything. So you can get your tacos on, hang out with your friends, and go get the fucking... Oh, man, those Taco Cabana times, dude. You know what I'm saying? Man, that's something I don't do when I'm older that I kind of miss, though. Is there some stuff, you know, you can do stuff when you're older that younger people can do, but, like... Man, going to Taco Cabana, dude. I know older people go to Taco Cabana, but I'm saying, like, it's so fun, like, when you're, like, 19 going to Taco Cabana. It's like a fucking blast. I miss going after a show 2 o'clock in the morning, get us some chicken quesadillas from Taco Cabana. You know. So Joe Biden's brain died. So they couldn't run him for another 4 years because he secretly had cancer and he had dementia, and they were just auto pen signing his shit from Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Clinton, and he was just a puppet. And that's the saddest part, is that a leader of the free world could just be a bitch, a fucking puppet of some darker, more sinister system. And that's the sad part that Americans had to realize. It's a brutal reality, but we had to realize it the hard way, and now we understand it. But we didn't really listen to General President Dwight D. Eisenhower when he warned us about the military-industrial complex. How the biggest threats to America, as Tom Clancy would say, the biggest threats to America aren't really coming from the outside; they're from within. And so, the Tom Clancy novel, Clear and Present Danger. The biggest threats to America aren't from foreign adversaries or the outside. They're from within. Yeah, that's very true. Who are you afraid of more, right? Somebody from the outside you don't even know? Or you're more afraid of those in your inner circle? Like your family stabbing you in the back, like Jesus Christ was stabbed by Judas Iscariot, betrayed to the Roman Empire, thousands of years ago. Or they said most of the crime is done by people that know other people, so. You'll probably get killed by somebody you knew. Or that's not very reassuring, but that's what they say in crime. So, they ran the stupidest DEI slut, sleeping her way to the top, the most dumbass bitch that's ever ran for president, even worse than Hillary Clinton. They decided, the Democrat Party said, hey, Joe's brain died, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch it out with fucking Kamala Harris. Scamala, crapala, and we're gonna switch out old Joe's dead, cancerous, dementia-ridden brain. I don't know whether the Bidens have a lot of fucking cancer running through their family. It's really crazy. I guess cancer can run through any family, based on genetics or lifestyles or whatever. But man, they got a lot of cancer going on, don't they? Man, those Bidens got Cancer City going on through their genes, man. They got cancer out the ass. No pun intended if they got colon cancer, but man, they got cancer out the ass over there. That's a cancertopia going on. Oh. The Bidens got a cancertopia. Or cancer whatever, canceria. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with something for they got a cancer Cancun over there. Holy shit. Those guys, that family, fuck. Got a lot of fucking negative genes. Kamala Kakala Harris, most fakest ass bitch I've ever seen run. The most fake person I've ever seen run for president. The Democrats thought if we got a woman who was a woman, part Indian, part African, that she was going to sail into the White House. That was it. All you have to do to become president is to be part Indian, part African, and a female with tits and vagina. You're good. Boom! You're the boss. Democrat Party actually thought that that's all they needed to do to defeat Donald Trump. You have to be Indian in heritage, African in heritage, and be a female. Boom! You're the president of the United States. Hot damn. It's great. Whoa. But you didn't have to have a brain. You didn't have to have a public speaking ability. You didn't have to have a plan. You didn't have to have a good slogan. Like Obama had hope and change. Biden had build back better, and then Kamala Harris had the new way forward. New way forward. Build back better. Hope and change. Love, not fear. Go, don't stop. Let me try to come up with a political slogan that's better than that shit. Rock on, bitch. No, maybe that's too curse. All right, rock this motherfucker. That's too much curse. All right. I got a hard on. Big dick. I don't know if that really translates. I got a big dick hard on. 2028. Big dicks. Big cock. All right, maybe that. I don't think that's gonna appeal to the general audience, man. Yeah, to the GA, Don. Okay, I got the slogan of the future. Rock this motherfucker. Is that gonna do it? No, you need to come up with better. Come on, come up with a 3-word slogan. Kiss my ass. I don't see how it translates to us. Kiss my ass? Kiss my dick. No. Kiss my butthole. I don't think you're getting the hang of the political slogans, man. Oh, I got one. I love Jesus. I'm getting a little warmer. I love Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's not 3 words, but it's 4 words. Maybe you can get away with it. We say I love Jesus Christ. Okay, what about? All right, God love the future or something like. Let's brainstorm it out. Or what we're gonna do for the political party of the future, right? Like, rock this motherfucking biatch. I don't know if that has the same ring to it. We gotta do, instead of a monologue, we gotta do a donologue. Make America great again. Ooh, that's already been done before though. Yeah. America on the pimp. I think that's gonna do it. Yeah. America on the pimp. America on the pimpin'. Like Scottie Pippen in the Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan. I don't know. People understand what that's. Getting girls naked forever, bitch. Nah, that's not a good slogan, dude. Pussy and money and ass. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna have that's gonna electrify the electorate right there. Barbecues and tits. No, I don't. I think you're ready for the political party, man. Hope and change. Ah, hope and change. Ooh, belief, faith, love. Is that getting people excited about the politics of the future? Hope and love and bonding. Oh. Let's go to the forward of the future. Is that, you getting closer to this look? Forward the future of peace. Let's come up with something. Love, peace, and Jesus. Let's try to like get these slogans on the politics or whatever. Politricks. That's the Sepultura album, the heavy metal. They had one song is called Border Wars, and another song is called Politricks. So I told Eric in Washington, D.C., after we listened to Sepultura, I said, hey, that's funny, Politricks instead of politics. And then he goes, well, Politricks, that's a funny joke, but, if you really want to affect change in the world, you got to get off their ass and do something about it if you care about it. And I was like, oh, well, that's pretty deep analysis on a silly pun from a heavy metal album. But, I understand where he's coming from. Like, if you want to affect change, you got to get off your ass and do something, right? So that's true. To a certain extent, I suppose. I like that one song by Sepultura. It was like, Border Wars. Border Wars. Yeah, I don't remember what Politricks was, but I'm sure it was pretty heavy as well. Border Wars? Border Wars. Ow. Yeah, that's intense, huh? The Border Wars. I think what all control systems have wrong, all control systems, whether they be economic, political, or religious, or whatever, I believe that all control systems have something very deeply wrong about their perception of humanity, or even wealth, or elite systems. They have a misconception about humanity that we can be easily herded into some sort of monotonous conformity in which there cannot be any creativity. I think that's probably the mistake of most domineering, totalitarian, communist type, authoritarian regimes and institutions in human history, is that they always underestimate the power of not just the human spirit, but the human creative ability. So almost like a godlike ability to create. So I think that's the mistake that all the controllers make, is that in their quest to control and dominate the world, they forget about people that will resist and that will be creative and fight them and fight them back. So oh, well, I guess the band played on, the story went on. Oh. Hopefully there's not a new COVID variant. I already had my time with COVID during the endless, it was almost like the muscles ached, you're stuck on the toilet, you had the high fever and you had the diarrhea. But it's all happening simultaneously. The shit storm's happening all at the same time. It's not happening like, oh, you have diarrhea. Oh, you have muscle ache. Oh, you have high fever. No, all that shit's going down and you can't breathe at the same time. All that shit's happening simultaneously. Yeah, it's not like you get to be like, oh, my muscles hurt really well. Oh, I got really crazy diarrhea. Oh man, I can't breathe. Ooh, my nose and my everything, my lungs are stopped up. Oh no no no! You get to experience everything, all the joys of it all at once. Yeah, you get to have a good time. Woo! Cause I'm standing by the fire, baby, by the sea, all around. Cause I'm standing by the fire, baby. Wanna be next to your love by the fire. Wanna be next to your love. Cause I'm standing by the fire, baby, by the sea. Wanna be next to your love by the fire. Wanna be next to your love. We're only as good as the stories that we tell. Maybe it took a certain maturity to realize that fact about human civilization, about human beings, about who supposedly I am, too. I guess I've never really felt like a human being. I guess I always thought I was something different. guess. Oh, I guess there's some kind of hope because not only was Trump reelected, but Oasis reunited. So the brothers Liam and Noel Gallagher. So that's something. That's something noteworthy. Did we do it? Yeah. I think we yeah, my mother doesn't like me because sometimes I do secret plans, but that's like her mother used to do. My grandmother used to have all kinds of secrets, so I'm a guy like that too. I'm like a spy. I live my life like a spy. I have so many secrets. I'm a lot like my grandmother. We like having secrets. We like having secret things. Not because we want to keep things from other people, but we enjoy the nature of the adventure of the secrets. So it's not that we're bad people or anything, or we're trying to hide or withhold things. We just love the idea of the secrecy. We like the idea of the privacy. We like the idea of you know, the escapade that someone that we like writing stories. We like going on adventures that no one else knows. We like to have privacy. We like to have. Me and my grandmother are very much the same. We like to have adventures, but we like to have that in a private memoir. So we're not really like want to tell the world that every adventure that we go on because it's our own private, it's our own lives, it's our own adventure. And so I feel a kinship with my grandmother. Maybe I don't necessarily feel with my mother or father, but I understand where she's coming from. I think as I get older, you kind of start to get mature, you start to understand where people are coming from and what their angle is, and so I hate to say that I'm becoming mature as I get older, but I think even though I've resisted that for a while, I think I have become more mature just through the passage of time, and I understand people a lot better now. I think I'm getting better at it. So that's especially my own family. I'm starting to figure it out. I too, like my grandmother, want a secret world, a spy world, an adventurous world, a world that's not announced to the world, but a world that is colorful and adventurous and exciting. I too desire that world. I'm not very different than my grandmother. I understand where she's coming from, and I understand I understand the passion of the Irish. It's a passion which also exists within me. It's burned inside my soul. The passion of the Irish. The passion is overwhelming. But if you don't, keep a lock on it, you lose control. And so, but I respect the passion of the Irish and my Irish heritage. So, even though I probably try to keep a lock on my passions, but so they don't go astray. But I understand the Irish desire for the adventure, and I'm not immune to that. I totally understand that. I feel a kinship with my grandmother in the ancient Irish heritage. I feel a great kinship between them, between us. So, I cannot throw away my ancient heritage so easily and not acknowledge its existence. That would be a betrayal, not just of Ireland and England and Native America. That would be a betrayal of my own soul, my own self. So I can never deny that. But I realize that I am more than my own heritage, genetics, and identity. We all are. We're not just labels on a conveyor belt. We were always more. God bless and best of success. This latest one hurts a lot. What's going on in the Hill Country, Texas? This one's bringing me down in a way I haven't been down very long. Been through a lot of down shit. This one's ripping it apart. But I trust that God has a plan, and I trust God. And so God bless those around the world suffering, and also in Texas, my home state. So God bless and best of success. I try to get in better spirits, but though I will admit, this one is rough. No doubt.